Well, the Centre for Excellence in Teaching and Learning through Design, which we know as the DesignCETL, is a long-standing collaboration between two institutions and two universities. Between them, they probably possess the best expertise you could find in the teaching and learning of design, and also the physical resources that are needed for that teaching and learning. And they are, of course, the University of Brighton, the Royal College of Art, the Victoria and Albert Museum, and the Royal Institute of British Architects.
Between the four of us, we represent all facets of design education, and I think we'll have a very fertile collaboration because of that.
The DesignCETL creates opportunities for students to extend their learning beyond the boundaries of the campus of a university into other institutions such as professional bodies, museums and the world out there.
When art education was first founded in this country, you know, art schools were inside museums, museums were inside art schools. There was a spectrum, a continuum, today's practice, yesterday's practice, and then in the 20th century they've gone in separate directions. Here's a chance to reintegrate the heritage and contemporary practice, which I like very much.
I think the thing that museums give students that you don't get in the classroom or the lecture hall at university is something that is far richer and more complex, and which enables students to make connections way beyond the subject that they're actually studying, and they may visit a collection that they feel is particularly relevant, but at the same time they're quite likely to wander through all sorts of other galleries which may trigger things off. So I think it's a very complex and rich and multi-layered resource.
The DesignCETL has two forms of funding: capital project funding, which is distributed over the first 2 years, and project funding, which has been distributed over the full 5 years of the project. At the University of Brighton, we have brought student learning into the centre of the campus by a series of refurbishments. And at the RIBA, we supported the education room, which will be open to all students, both from the partnership and beyond. At the V&A, we've developed office space and meeting space for staff to work there from across the partnership. And at the RCA, due to the limits on the opportunities for building, we've funded video conferencing facilities in order that we can at least meet virtually, if not physically.
The project funding would work in two strands to support the aims of the DesignCETL. The first would be to support colleagues in the museums, in the universities, to give them time to undertake work that better understands how students learn. The other strand may be to look at the vehicles of learning and teaching, which may be the use of digital technologies, podcasting, mobile phones and so on.
The projects we are aiming to undertake will, on the one hand, give us much more direct information from students about how they are learning and what they want to learn, and that will certainly feed back into our learning and teaching strategies and the curricula that we adopt in the college.
I was thinking maybe of this, the nanoparticle.
We need to do more research, and that's one of the great benefits of the DesignCETL project, is that we have a common research purpose. And one of the good things about the funding stream that's been created is that it allows that research to be teaching focused.
We all talk about it, we're practitioners, we're in the studios, we're practice, and people don't actually explode that thought and look at what lies behind it. What is the actual transaction when you're teaching through practice? Teaching a craft, teaching architecture, can you have a virtual learning environment in a practice-based setting? All these things. So it's a chance to actually take stock of what practice-based means.
Learning in informal environments, learning self-directedly, is hard to evaluate. And it's hard to research, and that's probably why it hasn't been done very often in the past as well. But on the other hand, what this enables us to do is to do something really sort of groundbreaking. As far as I'm aware, no substantial research project has been undertaken into how students use museums in this country ever before.